I'm Emmeline.
And I'm Kindy.
And welcome to Stuff with Moms, a podcast about shows, stories, and enjoying life. So, Kindy, how was your month?
So, Emmeline, no, you have to go first because you have had this intense busyness. You've been busy.
I've been so busy. Well, let's see. My parents were here for, a good month, so that was awesome. Me and my dad, in our entryway, we built a spot where you can hang coats, and the boys, we made them cupboards so that they can put their backpacks, and we made a bench for people to sit down and put their shoes on and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And then this table, kind of catch-all table that I have my plants on now, and anyway, it was a lot of fun designing that and building it with my dad. And, I say building it with my dad. He did most of the building, and I would show up after work and be like, now what to do? What can I do to help you? But it was great. And Clark had his baptism, and
yeah,
it was just awesome, Kindy. He planned the whole thing. Who was going to speak, who was going to say the prayers, what songs we were going to... He wrote up the program, and then I just, made it fancy looking. But he wrote up the whole program, and he decided he was going to sing.
That's good.
As part of the program. And so, Lorenzo started with a beautiful opening prayer. And then... we had some talks, one by my mom and one by his cousin, JJ. And then Clark got baptized and got the Holy Ghost. And then he got up and sang, "We'll bring the world his truth." And he started crying. And then the primary president got up and she's crying. And Clark's just sitting there crying and feeling the Spirit. And... and then we had the closing prayer, and then he stood up and he turned around, tears streaming down his face, and he's like, "Thank you all for coming." And it was just the best. He was so precious. So anyway, it was a really beautiful baptism, and then we've had a great Thanksgiving with all the good foods, that you love to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had back to school and back to work, and then we got off, and it's Christmas break now, and that's just the best because I love Christmas break. I got some other projects done and got those all sent out, so that was fun to do. Oh, and I was gonna report from last year because my birthday falls on Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? Answering the phone day. And nobody called me on my birthday. So I didn't actually end up saying it. But
that sucks.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of texts and I got all sorts of messages, but I didn't and nobody called me. So.
Shoot. Well, next year.
Yeah.
We'll call you.
Next year, if I remember. I was like, I gotta remember. And so I was set to say it. Anyway,
I'll call you, and if you don't say it, I'll be like, nope, and hang up and call again. Nope, and then hang up. And I'll just keep doing it. And you'll be so confused.
I'll be like, why is she hanging up on me? No, I'll remember. Anyway, my birthday was really great. We had activity night because my birthday was on Wednesday. So we had a pizza party and watched a movie, a Christmas movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was fun. And then I got cake, and Christmas has been awesome. It's just been so nice because, we are so busy, and now we're just chilling at home, and it's just been so nice. How about you? How was your Christmas and Thanksgiving and all the stuff?
My month was great. November was awesome. For Thanksgiving, we went to my brother-in-law's house, Matt's older brother, and although Matt's the youngest, so really everybody's older than him. But So the oldest brother, Lance, and they invite us every year, which is awesome. It's kind of been a tradition, and we just kind of expect to go to their house. And it was funny because his sister-in-law, or my sister-in-law, reached out. She's like, "I'm so sorry, I totally forgot to invite you over. Are you guys available to come?" I was like, I was pretty much planning on it, so yes. Anyway, so Thanksgiving we go there, and she doesn't cook anything traditional. For them, so it's not standard traditional. There's no
I think I
turkey
remember
or
you guys say they do a lot of like finger food type stuff.
yeah, well, yeah, for like preparation, there's like snacks and stuff. They toast a baguette, and then they put vinegar on it with like a seasoned tomatoes on it. I can't remember what they call it, but it's actually really good, and it's her son's favorite. So they make that, and then they have these they roll up a
Meat with cream
green
cheese.
onion. Yeah, meat with cream cheese, but they put a green onion in the middle.
Okay.
So then they roll that up and they cut it, and that's another appetizer that they do, and it's really good. I'd prefer not the onion, but it adds a little zing to it. But yeah, and then she does like a chicken cordon bleu kind of thing, and then her food is always delicious. So I'm not disappointed, because then the next day we go to my grandma's house, and that's where we have our traditional turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and the sweet potato / yams, whichever, with the marshmallows on top and things like that. So it's just 2 days of just yummy, yummy food. So it works out really good, and we get to hang out with his family and my family. So it works out, and we don't travel. I feel so bad for people who do it twice in a day.
Yeah.
I think you guys did that.
We
When you were
would
in
go
Utah.
like to my parents, and by the end I was just like, I am so full. So we'd visit both of our parents, and yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of food.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's good that you get to see the
yes.
people, but
Yes.
it's like not so much with what the holiday is, because then you're like, okay, now we got to go to this other place, instead of just staying at one place and enjoying, and leaving when you're ready or you have to or whatnot. But anyway, so
it was fun because we would get to like visit with everybody, and the food, we could just pick the favorite things that we wanted to eat.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, so we've got a pretty sweet setup, and yeah, and then December was crazy busy. Every weekend we were booked. We got sick actually the first weekend, and so and that was Matt's family's Christmas party, so that sucked. We couldn't go to that. Me and Anders stayed home being sick, and Matt and Emmeline went. At first he wanted to just go by himself. I'm like, no, you have to take Emmeline. I was like so dead to the world, like just having to take care of one kid. Well, 2 kids, one sick, one not sick. I couldn't do it. So thankfully he took Emmeline, and anyway, and then the next weekend, Friday was my company's Christmas party, and then Saturday was something. I can't even remember. It was so impressionable. There was something happening. And like in between all of that, I was helping people learn how to sew.
What? You did what? That's awesome.
Yeah, and then the weekend after that was my family's party, and then we went to my cousin's train party that same day. So we hit my sister and then another party, and then the next day we did gingerbread house decorating, which was graham crackers glued together. Yeah, and decorated graham crackers. Although Anders wasn't in it, he was decorated out, so we didn't really participate. We just ate the candy. And then and then we went and saw lights, and then Christmas, we didn't do anything. We didn't go anywhere for Christmas Eve. We stayed home, and I spent all day making neighborhood treats, and that was exhausting. I don't know why I do it every year, but this year it was really late in the game, and then we just hung out and watched a Christmas movie. Although this year it felt weird because we did The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Uh-huh.
Let me tell you, it's like almost both, but it's more Halloween. When you're watching it Christmas Eve, it's more Halloween.
Uh-huh.
It's really weird. I looked at Matt. I was like, I feel like this is
I've
sacrilegious.
never watched it all the way through, so I can't.
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much takes over Christmas.
Okay.
So you could count it as a Christmas thing, but it's like, it's Halloween.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I don't think we'll be doing that one anytime soon. I think I'm like, no, this is not a Christmas movie. Anyway, so, and then, yeah, then we did Christmas, and it's just fun stuff. And Monday, I didn't take next week off, so I get to go back to work, and the kids are still off. So it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be hard, but it's been good. It's been fun. I've just piddled here and there of like doing things, like being productive and not being productive. It's like been a really good balance of like getting things done and being lazy. So I feel good about it. I haven't like been totally neglecting the house and the kids, but I've also neglected the house and the kids. It's like an even, I don't feel awful, but I don't feel super great that I'm like super productive, been super productive.
Uh-huh.
I think I found my balance.
Good.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Probably not, because there's still a lot of things that need to get done in the house, but it's kind of interesting because when I do things by myself, it takes so much longer. And then when Matt helps me when he can, I'm like, man, this is so much better because it gets done so much faster.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, but
I always work better with a buddy as well. But
Yeah.
there's some things that I just have to do that by myself. So I guess
Yeah,
it's
like what?
hit and miss. It depends. It depends on the
Oh,
thing.
does it? Oh, okay. Okay.
Some
So like
things-
cleaning the house, is that better with a buddy?
No, I like to do that one myself. But
Oh,
there's
okay.
some jobs that I'm like, I hate that one. Do you do that one? Like vacuuming?
Oh,
I
like
hate
vacuuming. Yeah, I was gonna say. I know
Kyle
you
does
pawned
that
that
one.
off to Kyle. Yeah,
But like,
because you have to vacuum under everything.
yes. Yes. There's projects and stuff that I'm like, if I'm doing it, I'll sit there and sit there and sit there and think of all the things that I still need to do and things that I could do and and I just think out stuff instead of actually doing things. But if somebody's there with me, it's like, okay, let's do this, then let's do that. And I'm actually doing it instead of just sitting there
yeah.
thinking about doing it.
Yeah. My problem is there's too much to do that I don't know where to start, so I just don't start. That's my problem.
I have to break it down into a list. This over Christmas, I'm like, here's my list. These are the things I want to accomplish. And some days I add a few things to the list because it's nice to check things off. And I'm like, I'm going to actually do this right now. So I'm going to add it to my list so that I can check it off when I'm done.
That's awesome. Why not? That way you can look back on the day and be like, I did something.
Yep.
I have the word of the day, and it is Sesquipedalia.
Sesquipedalia.
Pedalia.
Pedalia? Sesquipedalia.
Pedalia.
That one
Yeah.
sounds familiar. That's why I'm like,
You've probably have come across it.
Sesquipedalia.
Because it's like kind of a word that you would have come across.
Yeah, that one's like, I think it's really weird words or really long words. Is it long words? I think it's
Dang
long
it,
words.
yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. It's really long words. Good job.
That one, I have a sister-in-law who loves Scrabble. Like her whole
Oh,
family
okay.
loves Scrabble. And so I think I've heard that one from her.
Probably. Especially if she loves Scrabble. I'm sure somebody would have gotten that word. That should be like a you win the whole game kind of word.
It's a
'Cause
long
it's
word that means long words.
it is. Yeah. All right, and then you've got a question for
I
us to
do.
discuss.
What are your feelings about like further education, like college, university degrees and stuff? And this is a loaded question because I have a story behind it. So,
Okay. Well, for me, I feel intimidated with people who have a high opinion of their education because I feel like with that high education, they feel like they're better than other people. And not everybody. There are exceptions because I have a brother-in-law who he's just chill no matter what. He never makes you feel dumb, which I really appreciate. But there have been people that I've met that like for them being book smart is far more important than anything else. So, and for me personally, I suck at learning. I'm not good at it. I don't appreciate it. I don't care for it. I should. I feel like learning is second nature if you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Like I feel like education and knowledge and learning is very important and I just don't care. Like I'm okay with where I'm at. I mean, the job that I'm at, I want to learn more and
mhm.
um the way that I'm doing it is getting certifications. I don't know if I could handle going back to school to get like an accounting degree. I probably should because then I could have that degree to kind of, back up my knowledge. I'm also doing the work and learning as I'm going, which that is how I learn. I can't do theoretical or
Learn within a
people
classroom.
telling me yeah, I don't work that way. I have to actually do it. Like you can't anyway. And I have found out that I'm really good. I'm really good at learning. Oh god. I'm really good at learning new software. I'm really good at it. It's common sense to me. It makes sense. Which is really good, I feel like, in accounting because there's so many different accounting softwares.
Mhm.
And there's so many other softwares to boost the accounting. So that was a really long way to say that I myself do not care for further education, but I know a lot of people do. So what are your feelings about higher education?
So, what's funny is my brother sent me an article once about how he read a person with cystic fibrosis and how they never really put a lot of stock into going to school. And he's like, I
Yeah.
was just curious what your thoughts were on this. And I was like, mine are the same. Like, I never was like, I want to finish school because when you have, a kind of a timeline of what amount of life you're going to have, you kind
Yeah.
of put certain things are more important than other things. And for me, I was like, I want to be a mom. That's what my goal had always been. I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to get married. And I know that involves another person. And luckily for me, it worked out. And I found
Yeah.
that other person. And then I was able to become a mom. So I was never like, I never had this real desire to go and finish school or go get a degree or anything. Like that was
Mhm.
really low on my priority list. I was like, well, if that's what ends up happening, then I'd much rather just work a minimum wage job than go back to school. Like that was me. I was like,
Yeah.
just, work in order to survive, but then I can go spend my time doing fun things, right?
Mm-hmm.
After we had Lorenzo and he was off into like elementary school and I had all this free time, Kyle and I are like, so now what? And I was like, well, I could get a job or I could go back and finish school. And we decided, okay, I'll go back and finish school. And then I got pregnant with Clark. And so I was like, okay, never mind. So I had him, and now Clark's to that point. And I've been working, which has been great. But I feel like I'm worth more than what I'm getting paid. And so I'm at this point where the last couple of years, Kyle and I have discussed me going back and finishing school. And so that is what I am going to be doing.
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I kind of scouted out schools around here and found a good one that has the program that I want to go into. And so come January, I'm starting up school and I'll be going for a couple of years.
Holy crap. That's awesome. What is your
I'm going to major
program?
in respiratory therapy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That is cool. So what would that mean once you're done? Would you be able to go to a
go work in a
part
hospital.
of a hospital that
Yeah.
that specializes in that? That is cool.
Yep. So that's the plan. And it's, even as a kid, I kind of always was more, I always thought nursing would be a cool job, but I was like, oh, I'll be around sick people all the time. That isn't such a good idea. But I always liked the idea of helping people. And so this was kind of just like, I can do it now. I'm healthy enough now. And it'll give me that opportunity to help people. So I'm going back
That
to
is
school,
awesome.
Candy.
Awesome.
And I'm old, and I'm like, my brain doesn't work the way it used to when I was in college the first go round. And I'm like,
It'll be a whole new experience.
am I gonna have to like study harder, or because I have so much life experience, it's gonna be easier? And so hopefully it's the second.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on it.
Oh, don't say that.
I would count, well, because if you think about it, learning something is totally different. Like, I guess not learning something, but like education. You know, when you go to school, it's totally different than life experience. It's like its own world. Like, it's not
Right.
even the same. Plus, you've had a lot of changes and you haven't been in education for years.
I know.
So you'll also, not only will you be learning new things, but you'll also be learning how you learn best.
Yes.
Which I think that will be the hardest
Yes,
part.
it will.
But once you get that, then you'll be fine. You'll be great.
But also I'm older and more mature and know more about myself, so maybe it will happen quick.
That is true.
More quickly.
Yeah. I'm hoping it will happen very quickly. I'm slow no matter what I do. Once I catch on, I'm good. But so for me, it would probably take like 2 semesters. And by then I'd be like,
I think within the respiratory program, like all the respiratory classes though, because I have so much practical experience, it will be easier in that way.
Yeah. And you've been in medical facilities and
knowledge-ish.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know the anatomy of it all, but you are familiar with terms, you're familiar with medications, you're familiar with how it's supposed to work because yours doesn't work.
Yep. So I think
it'll be interesting. I'm excited for you.
Yeah. You'll get to hear how it's going all along.
Sweet.
I'll be like, this is so crazy, or I got it.
I
So,
got this. Yeah. Or you'll hear less of us because she's too busy.
yep, or that.
One or the other. We'll see. But that's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like if you're going to education for something that will pay off, I think that's great. I think we need to get rid of stupid things that like they don't pay well. Like you're going into debt for something that doesn't pay you back well enough. I think that is a huge problem
Yeah.
in our country. But
Yeah.
this one, yeah, your purpose of going back is definitely going to pay off.
Yeah. It will be good. And then I can work. I get to work for fun now anyway, but it will be like I don't have to work as much because like I want to put in a pool in our backyard, but I'm like I gotta save up forever for that. But if I get a
Yeah.
better paying job, it won't take me so long. I'll be able to swim in my pool.
Yeah. Yeah, before you die.
Before I die, yeah.
You'll get it in, you'll just wait around. Okay.
Now to our main segment, Smallville.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about season 2, episodes 21 through 23.
Woo woo.
So I looked up some summaries because I was like, I like when we have short summaries because then we get into it anyway. So here's the summary. After Lana is visited by the ghost of her childhood friend, she turns to Clark for help in uncovering the truth about the strange visitor. However, Clark realizes that the little girl is actually a kryptonite-enhanced clone, and he rushes to save Lana before the revenge-seeking child harms her. Meanwhile, Lex learns that Lionel is funding the cloning research. I called this one Creepy Clones.
Accelerate.
Accelerate.
This one, yeah, it doesn't fit. Unless you're thinking of like accelerating the growing process, but it's a clone.
Or
So
that she runs really fast so she can accelerate.
Maybe.
I think they did really good with like the creepiness factor in this. And what was fun is I watched it right around Halloween time, so it worked out.
Yeah. So the dad plays the janitor on Scrubs, and anytime he tried to be serious, it was really hard for me to take him seriously. There was a moment where he was super serious and I just laughed.
Okay. That's funny. I didn't realize that. I never watched Scrubs, so.
Yeah. Matt's favorite.
The very first opening scene, they're like watching a movie at the Talon. This is like one of the rare times that the Talon movie theater is actually being used. It doesn't happen very often.
Like it got refurbished to be a theater still, and
they never show it being used. Maybe it is being used this whole time, and they just don't
show it.
Yeah.
They should at least mention it. Well, I've got employees working the movie theater.
Or
Lana.
Or that movie's running long, so we're still open.
I have to stay later. Yeah, something like that. Like, yeah, I think it's an afterthought. It's just something to fit the plot.
Yeah.
Which is really annoying because it doesn't fit throughout.
But Pete does a thing that I hate. Is he yells during a movie. In a movie theater, there's like some what are they? Some politeties. That is. I
know what you're trying to say, and I can't think of it either.
Manners.
Movie
manners.
Manners.
Your movie manners.
Movie manners.
And he yells during the movie, and I was like, "Ooh, if he was like behind me, I would have turned around and gave him a dirty look."
Anders talks while we watch movies. He is like the narrator.
If it's at home, But
No,
like,
it drives me crazy. I have had to hold my so during Christmas when we were watching movies together, I've held my tongue because at some point he stops, which I'm so grateful that he doesn't continue. I'm like, I'm not saying anything. Matt has to say something because my patience with that is very thin.
oh, mine
So I
too.
was like, I'm not gonna yell because I I love my son. I do. I promise you guys I do. But for whatever reason, he gets on my nerves the most. Well, Emmeline too, because she does things repeatedly and I'm like, I could have sworn I told you this like 20 times. Get it through your head. She's been in timeout a lot this week. Anyway, but yeah, movie talkers are the
They
worst.
are. And Clark's in this phase right now that he can't hold still. And so we'll like put on a movie and he like gets up and then he sits down and then he goes over there and then he walks over here. And I'm
Oh,
like,
that's
just
distracting.
hold still. Watch the movie.
Just tell him to go
Movie
run around the house
etiquette.
20 times.
That's the
Yeah,
word.
there you go. That is the word. Etiquette.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, Clark has needs to work on that movie etiquette. My Clark and
Yeah.
Pete in the show. So
Clark at some point jumps in water to help Lana because she gets pushed into the water and I think she hits her head because then she just sinks to the bottom or
mhm,
something. I
mhm.
don't know. It's a river. You'd think she'd get swept away, but no, she gets caught, I guess, in this current of rocks. Anyway, so Clark jumps in to save her and they come out and oh my gosh, that man is attractive with wet hair. I don't know what it is, but his hair was in his face and it was wet and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you just hit like a whole different attraction level for me." I don't know. It's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird. But
No,
I
he's
love though
a good looking
that
guy.
he is that they had Avril Lavigne music. Like the music that they have for these episodes are just perfect.
Yeah.
Like I love it.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's definitely our wheelhouse of music.
Yes, it is. If nothing else, they got the music just spot on.
Nope. Nope.
It's the last 3 episodes of the season, so everything's getting so intense.
It is. It is. I thought what I thought was interesting is Lana kind of like puts on a mask of who she is to who she projects out to everybody and who she actually is. And
Oh, yeah.
it made me think like, are there things that I mask of myself and who I project out? And I think in all instances you kind of hold yourself back a little bit as kind of like a protection.
Mhm.
Like for instance, at a job, you'll work hard, but you don't like really tell people personal stuff about yourself, right?
I should do that more. Not tell people about my personal life.
Oh, well, not Kindy, but other people.
Yeah, other people, yeah. Oh, shoot.
um, or okay, I don't.
But yeah, in different situations, you kinda are not completely yourself. I get it. Yeah. Even at home, you're different than when you're in public.
Maybe this was one of the points where she kind of put that mask on, is starting at this point where, you know, the reason why Emily is dead and um, is this little ghost, we find out later a clone, that Lana fell into the water and Emily jumped in to save her and saved her, but then Emily drowned.
Mhm.
And so then Lana kind of blamed herself for that happening.
Which also doesn't make sense. You can save your friend, but you can't save yourself. It is hard. Even with Emmeline and how small she is, I was in the deep end and I was holding her and she was making me sink. I mean, granted, she's a heavy
She's a
little
little
kid.
brick.
Yeah, she is. Oh my gosh, she is. She does not float that one. So I was shocked and terrified because I'm like, if we get caught somewhere in water, I'm doing everything I'll die before I let this kid drown. But it's like I need to like get some strength in so that I can, you know, protect my child.
Yeah.
And so for this, it's like you saved someone, but you couldn't save yourself. I just that's
Yeah. Well, maybe she was worn out at that point.
yeah, maybe.
There's a part that made me laugh because looking into the basement.
Of where Emily's clones are.
Yeah. And they open the door to the basement, and Lana like gets this like scared look on her face, like, we're going down there. And they end up going down there, and it is actually creepy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's all these little clones. Which gets us to our question, what are our thoughts on cloning? So, do you have thoughts on cloning?
I do actually. I think it's a good thing because of what I'm thinking it should be used for. I don't understand why, if we can clone an animal and have the technology to clone people, why are we not cloning body parts? Like, why do they need to be donated? Why is that not something? Is it because the technology isn't there to have something like a heart being put into someone else and it may or may not work? Like, even if it's donated, that's not a guarantee
Right.
because
Right.
your body might reject it. Like, there's that possibility. So is that why we're not cloning body parts? But then someone's lying in bed needing a body part to survive. Why can't we use that time to use their DNA to clone a heart for them or a liver? Or, you know, I mean, why is it that we're trying to clone a whole person or a whole animal? Why can't we do it with body
Parts.
parts? People are being like harvested for their body parts on the black market.
Mm-hmm.
Because why? Because they don't want to figure out how to clone body part. Like, that's what I don't understand. I'm fine with it if it's that. Like, doctors playing God in that way to help people live, I think is a good thing. I think cloning to copy somebody will never work because we're not God.
Right. And that leads me to the other question. Are the clones the person that they are the clone of, or are they a new person? Even though
Right?
they look exactly like the person and
Twinners.
yeah, like are they just like a clone and their own person, or are they that person? Like,
Yeah,
is
and
this little girl Emily, or is she Emily part 2 or whatever?
yeah. Well, and she has Emily's memories, but I don't think that's how it works. I think
No, I think she was given Emily's memories because they gave her all Emily's stuff.
yeah, yeah, I understand the concept that they were going for in the show, but I'm thinking like in real life, and I think that's part of the reason why they're not cloning people is because the ethical implications that is it that person or is it a completely new
New person.
person?
Right.
Yeah. And if that person doesn't survive, is that murder?
Right. Right.
Or
Like the
is it something
clone
else?
process
Like,
didn't work. Are we?
yeah,
Yeah.
is that, yeah. And like the trauma of that. I think that's probably why they've never attempted to clone a person, is because of all those ethical implications and like
Right.
what that is or what that could be. So we don't know because we've never tried it. Thank goodness, because I don't think that's the right way to use that technology. I
Right.
think it's, let's figure out
How
how
to
to,
do just a
like,
piece,
yeah, for
a
your
heart or a
example,
liver
create
or
you new
new
lungs
lungs. Yeah.
using your DNA, cloning, like using your DNA to clone you new lung. Like, where is that? Why are we not doing that? Who put the kibosh on that? I don't understand.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Right? We
Yes.
don't need to wait for people to die. We just need to figure out.
And put lungs
Um,
in that my body's like, these aren't yours. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. It's like that's why I know nothing about these things, but to me, it's like if you're using your own DNA to clone your lungs exactly the same, it seems like your body would be more accepting of that. Like you would have to take, I hear that people that get transplants, they're like forever on medication
Oh yeah,
because if they don't, then their body will
we'll
reject
reject it. Yep.
that not exterior, but external body part because it's not your body part. It's somebody else's that you were able to get.
Right.
So
Right.
I didn't know I had so many feelings about cloning, but that's how I feel.
They were all good.
Yeah.
Oh.
But your question, I think it'd be someone else entirely. I don't think it would be like your memories and this because we have five senses and you can't, like I said, I'm not a doctor or anything, so this is all philosophical, but I feel like the smells that you acquire and the tastes, it'd be an infant basically.
Right.
Like they wouldn't know what cardboard tastes like because they they wouldn't have had that ability to program it into their brain until they take a bite or take a lick or whatever it is we do when we're kids and we're getting our sense of taste of things that are not actually edible, but we still taste them because we're curious. Anyway, so
Wouldn't it be funny if an adult went around just like, instead of being like, huh, I wonder if that tastes good, you're just like, I'm going to try it.
right. Yeah, which is pretty funny. And I think that's the idea that most people have because I was recently watching The Island, and whenever they have a new person come into their community, they have them act like an infant.
Oh,
Like they don't
yeah.
know what anything is because they haven't had that experience. So I feel like we kind of have a sense of what it would be for that cloned individual, and maybe when they clone the animal, that's how the animal acted, was like a little baby.
Like a baby.
Had to learn how to walk. I don't know. I haven't researched it, but
Me either.
yeah.
This is all our conjecture.
Yep.
What we think. That's
Yeah.
what you get to hear. Okay.
Yep.
At the very end, Lionel comes in and sits with Emily and has like little, gives her a bunny and has a little tea with her and is being all cute. And I was just like, I
Yeah.
bet that actor in real life is a really good grandpa.
Oh yeah, for sure. And a good dad. Like
Yeah.
he portrays a really good bad dad.
Yeah, he does. But he's probably really great.
He probably is. That's the hope anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so episode 22, I called it The Day Is Coming.
That's way better. Calling is what they
Calling.
named it. Calling. Which
Okay.
makes sense. The ship is calling him.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's see. Dr. Walden wakes up from a coma and tells Lex and Lionel that Clark is an alien.
I forgot about that.
Lionel suspects Clark after hearing Dr. Walden repeat the day is coming and write the last son will rule the world. Lex asks Clark to be his best man at his wedding to Helen and asks the Kent parents to fill in for his because he didn't invite his dad. And then Lionel offers Chloe a chance to intern at the Daily Planet if she spies on Clark and reveals if he is an alien or not. And then Chloe finds out that Clark and Lana are together because they started dating.
Yep.
And Lex prepares for his wedding. So that's what this episode is about.
Oh man. Yeah, they finally kiss.
There's that cute moment when Lana comes up to Clark's little loft and she's like, don't peek. And Clark does this cute thing where he like covers his face with his hands. I don't know if you remember it, but it's the cutest moment. And then, she gives him a birthday cake, and
Yeah.
they Chloe can tell that they're going out, and she can tell that they're lying to her face because she asks
Well,
him
hold
about
on.
it.
Lana is like, kissing him was a mistake. Like, she's questioning everything after
That's true.
the next day. She's like, I don't know what's happening. I think that was a mistake, which is like, oh my gosh, you are pining after this guy. You finally get to kiss him, and now it's a mistake. Freaking get rid of her. She's a freaking
She is.
menace
She's
to
what? And
society.
then she's like, "No, but we should tell Chloe." And Clark's like, "Ah." Well, no, that's the next episode. Okay, but anyway, Chloe can tell that they're lying to her face
Something's up.
about it because she's like, "Where were you last night?" And he's like, I had stuff I had to do." And Lana's like, "I had to stay late at the Talon." And then Pete comes in. Oh, it was such a good moment. He was like, he could totally read the room. And he's like, "So, what's going on here?"
Right.
Or whatever he said. But he could tell that it was awkward. And he was like, "This is awkward. Let's go."
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Dr. Bryce's clinic room was vandalized, and Clark's blood is gone, and
Oh yeah.
that's when Lex, he's still suspicious of Clark, and he's trying to figure out if what Dr. Walden said.
Well, I think he's the one that took it.
Oh, he is. He took it.
Yeah.
And you find out at the end of the episode that he had it in his little secret nook in his little library. But he is suspicious of Clark, but he still is like, "Clark, let's solve this mystery together."
Yeah.
Because he wants Clark to tell him.
He does.
But
He
he's
really
he's suspicious of him, and he knows that he's different, but he just wants Clark to be the one to tell him what it is, why he's different, what he's different about. Anyway,
do you think if Clark told Lex the truth that their friendship would have gone a different direction?
I've debated that a lot because I love this Lex, right? And so I was like, what if they were just friends forever? Lex is the person he is, though. So even though, yes, he wants to be a good guy, he still wants to be the hero. And even if him and Clark ended up friends, he would have wanted either to control Clark in some way so that he could be the hero, or they'd become rivals anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, there is still that upbringing that he has where
he wants to save the world, and he wants the power, and he wants the money.
Yeah.
So.
And the glory.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dr. Walden, I don't know if you've seen this guy on social media, but there's this blue cardigan guy.
Yeah.
That does dances, and he's also in TV shows and stuff, maybe even a few movies. But he wears a blue cardigan, and he does reactions, and he does dances, and he makes his videos on YouTube. And anyway, Dr. Walden reminds me of him.
Yeah.
They have similarities in their look. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Blue cardigan guy. I don't even know his name. I just called him Blue Cardigan Guy.
Is that not what his show is called?
I don't know.
He just wears the blue cardigan?
Yeah, he wears a blue cardigan.
Yeah, and during this whole time, the ship is calling to him, and his dad's talking to him through the ship and says, right? I think
Yep.
it's this episode where it's you will rule over these people or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
But
Did
Clark doesn't wanna.
they use this phrase in this show a lot, and now you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna notice it. They say when they say completely honest, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, or how about you be
It's like a double
completely
negative.
honest with me, right?
Yeah.
But it always feels like a threat. Like, I'm giving you information, and now that you know this, what are you going to do about it? It's a threat phrase.
Huh. I haven't noticed that. Wonder
Anyway,
if it'll carry over into the next season.
yeah, it will.
Pay attention. Oh, okay.
Chloe sees Clark and Lana kiss at the end when she's running up to like warn him about Lionel.
Oh yeah, and then that's when she's like, lover scorned.
Yes. Yes.
Because no matter how much they try and be friends, she wants more.
Yep. She does.
Poor girl.
Poor, stupid Chloe.
Have you ever done anything where you've regretted it the next day? Done or said anything?
Of course.
Right?
Pretty much whenever I do anything in the heat of the moment, I always wish.
yeah.
I'm like, why didn't I take time to think out what I said first? Most of the time when I'm having PMS. That's why a lot of times I'll like
Avoid people.
cloister myself off and
Yeah.
go off and be by myself and sequester myself.
Sequester.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what you said
Cloister?
earlier. Cloister.
Does that work? I'm gonna have to look it up. Sometimes words come out of my mouth that my brain has stored up because it knows what it means, and I look it up and I'm like, that did work. I was correct.
Good job.
But yeah, I have to. That's what I've learned that I have to do now because otherwise, I'll do things or mostly just say things that I'm like, I shouldn't have said that. Like, I turn into an evil monster person that says stuff that I wouldn't ever actually say or even think when I don't have PMS. So it's the worst. It's the worst. And I hate that version of myself that exists for a few days a month. And so, yes, I have had moments. What about you? Have you ever done anything you've regretted the next day?
Oh yeah, mine. What came to mind was boys. Like when I was in high school, it seemed like every time I'd start to date someone, I would, or like we determined we were boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever. I regretted it the next day. Like I remember there was one situation specifically where the next morning I was showering, I was like, what am I getting myself into? And that was like my almost up until I graduated AIT.
Oh, wow.
Even maybe a little bit before that, every boyfriend was like, what am I doing? And I think it was because I could tell that they liked me, but I don't think I was paying enough attention to myself to know that I didn't like them in that way. I liked them. I thought they were okay, just not in a relationship way. So anytime I got together with those kind of boys, I was like, oh, I'm regretting this terribly. Like I remember specifically, and I wish I was aware enough to realize and to have done something about it, that when I was dating Ben and he asked me to marry him, my face went white and I went into the bathroom after I said yes and was like, what the freak am I doing? Like I didn't say that in my head, but that's how I felt. And I wish I had done something about it. But I also had my brother-in-law in my head at the time, ex-brother-in-law, I should say. At the time, he was my brother-in-law. Anyway, he had me convinced that I was crazy and that I wasn't emotionally and like something was broken within me because I wasn't so emotionally involved with these people that I was dating, that because I didn't cry after I broke up with them. And looking back, it's like, yeah, because I
Didn't
didn't
like him.
like him like that. Yeah, the first boy I ever cried over, I think, was like my first love. So anyway, yeah, so there's a lot. I could have avoided a lot of issues if I had listened to myself,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I didn't. So sad. And that's one thing that I'm like, the unsaid is, oh, I guess that goes into something else where it's like the unsaid is almost worse because it gets you into situations where it's like if you're just honest with people, I mean, not to the point of hurting their feelings like you had
Right.
just described, but if you're honest with someone and like you learn that at a younger age to be able to articulate what it is that you're trying to get to or you're trying to work through, the better off you are. Because if I would have been like, you know what, I know I said we'd date, but I'm just not. How about we not? Because I wasted their time, I wasted my time, and it was a waste of time. But yeah, those are my regrets. I have a lot, but those are the ones that like they remember. I
Mine are
remembered those.
silly. Like I'm like sometimes I like stay up late reading or watching movies, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
I
the
do that
next day I'm
too.
like, why did I do that?
I was so dumb.
Oh,
Yeah, there is a part in the episode where I remember thinking Lana should have told Chloe and Clark should have, like, they both
yes,
should have talked to Chloe and been
yes,
like,
and they had
I mean,
opportunities to, and they just
so
didn't.
many. Yeah, and
Ugh.
she was trying to be cool about it.
Yeah.
Like she knew
And she was
something was
even
up.
like hinting at, like, hey, how about you tell me? Hint, hint, I'm ready to listen.
Yeah. Yep. So that's my next question. Was there ever a time where there was something you should have said to someone but never did?
That's a good question.
And I've thought about a lot of fights or arguments, I guess I should say, that I've had where I'll have the argument again in my head and I'd be like, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that. But that's all I could think of. I just have fights reoccurring in my head where I come out better than I did in reality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you were talking about last podcast. Yep, that's me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always. Always in my head.
Yeah.
There's times where I've actually, as an adult, I've gotten better at this, but there were times where I did have a moment of I'll just tell you the story. One of the times when I was in the hospital, there was an intern kind of taking care of me, and he was a jerk. I'll just, to put it kindly, he was a jerk. He was manipulative.
Ooh.
He didn't have a good bedside manner. Like, he was just not a good doctor.
You're like, you need to find a different profession.
Exactly.
You're in this for the wrong reason.
It wasn't good. So he came in and he was all trying to manipulate me into agreeing to stuff he wanted for me, but I didn't want for myself. And I was just feeling bad about it. And then the next doctor the next day came in, because it wasn't the intern, the next day. And I had thought about that intern the whole day before, after he left, and all the things he said to me. And I was just angry. And so when the new doctor came in, I kind of was just, I laid it on him. And I was like, that wasn't okay. And I kind of like yelled at him about it. Not about the intern, but just like about the situation and everything. So I was just told him all the things that went wrong.
Yeah.
But then I saw him later and I was just like, you know what? That wasn't you. What I did to you was wrong, and I took something out on you that wasn't your fault, and you had nothing to do with it, and I'm so sorry. You caught me in a bad moment. Like, I really, apologized to him, and then, in the future, he was like, I just love coming and visiting you, and I think it was that I apologized. Apologized after being a jerk. And he might not get that very often. Anyway, but I've noticed that I've gotten better at stuff like that when there's things that I did say or didn't say that I'm like, you know what? I just need to do that. I just need to say it. Even though it's later and even though they might not have any idea what I'm talking about, I need to say it so that it's off of me, you know?
Yeah.
That it doesn't keep weighing me down. So,
yeah. That's awesome. There's something freeing about just telling someone something.
yes.
It's like, I don't know how to resolve this, and I don't even know if anything needs to happen after me telling you this, but this is something I need to tell you so that it's out there. It just needs to be out there, it seems,
Yes.
and there's something freeing about that.
Yes. And especially if it's a good thing. Like, it's not necessarily the best thing if you've thought about something and it's negative or bad. Like, maybe they need to hear those things, but definitely if it's a positive thing, like you're apologizing or something, definitely say those things.
Yeah.
But if it's to tear somebody down, it might not be the best.
Yeah. Well, that's different. Yeah. My thought is more like, how you handled that wasn't right because it made me feel this way, or how this happened, and there's a right way and a wrong way to address something, and I feel like that's something that I think holds me back the most, because I don't want to address something the wrong way,
right,
and make it seem like I'm I want I want them to know how it made me feel. I don't want them to feel worse, or something like that. And it's not even like how they made me feel. It might just be like, this is something that happened. I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting at, but I'm talking in vague representations, and it's hard to speak specifically when it's all vague.
Yep.
And I can't think of anything right now to specifically address. So
right.
Anyway.
Okay. I think that's it for that episode, unless you had anything else.
I hate Lana. I have that in all caps. That's all I got. She's the worst.
Yep. She is. Okay.
But at the end of this episode, right? It's at the end, or is it the beginning of the next one where what's her face goes in the hospital? Martha is in the hospital.
I think it's the beginning of the next one.
Beginning? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been too long since I watched them, Kindy. I can't tell you.
I guess we'll find out when you summarize the episode.
No.
What did you call this one?
This next episode, I called it Terrence Stamp. Because I couldn't think of anything else.
Terrence Stamp? Where'd you even get that?
Terrence Stamp? You don't know who Terrence Stamp is? Oh, this is a treat. Okay, good.
It's called Exodus.
Okay.
That's what this one's called.
So Terrence Stamp in the Superman movies that were made in the 80s.
Okay.
He played General Zod.
Okay.
And Terrence Stamp is the voice of Jor-El in Smallville.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So we get to hear Terrence Stamp whenever Jor-El talks. But yeah, I couldn't think of a good title for this one. All right, so torn between his heritage and his upbringing, Clark must make a difficult choice. Clark is contacted by his biological father, Jor-El, who tells him he must leave Smallville to fulfill his destiny, just as everything is going right for him. And we get Lex and Helen, their wedding, and it's in jeopardy for a while because Clark doesn't show up, and he's the best man, and Chloe considers Lionel's offer to investigate Clark. Oh, and then at the end, Clark leaves Smallville to flee, fulfilling his destiny.
Well, he flees because he screwed up with his parents.
And because he doesn't want to face things.
Well, he destroys the ship.
Yeah. Life's hard if you're a teenage superhero.
He destroys the ship because he doesn't want to. He doesn't. I wrote so much has happened
Yes.
because there is a lot going on. Uh, Lex gets married, and then Clark destroys the ship, and
Oh, but the way he destroys it, he found out Lionel has made
oh yeah, the key,
a key for the
kryptonite
ship, but he
key.
made it out of kryptonite because he's been, you know, digging up kryptonite everywhere and shipping it to himself. So
Yeah.
he made a kryptonite key for to put in the cave wall and for the ship if he ever finds the ship. And so what's fun is Clark takes Pete with him. And I love whenever Pete is utilized because he knows Clark's secret. And so why not use him?
Yeah.
It's so
And
good.
he's a good character.
And he's a good actor. So he comes in and he's like, "Hey, Lionel, you're Mr. Luther," and he
Oh yeah, he's the
gets
distraction so Clark can get the key because they're in the cave.
and he comes in there and he's like picking a fight with Lionel. And the two like security guards grab him and start to pull him away, and he's like, "Leave me alone. You know you hate him." And Lionel's like, "I value their hatred. I find it very useful. You see, people are always at their weakest when they're angry." And then the key gets taken by Clark, and Lionel goes over and he's like, he's angry, and he's like, "Did you take it?" And Pete's like, "I've just been standing here the whole time," and he's like getting really angry. And then Pete's like, "Careful, Mr. Luther. Wouldn't want you to look weak." I thought that was awesome.
That was good. Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, then Clark uses the key to destroy the ship. And it totally like explodes and sends out a shockwave and
Yep, flips Jonathan and Martha's truck over while they're driving towards Clark. They're driving towards the house because
they found out Clark's in trouble and needs.
Yeah, I think they were at the wedding and everybody's waiting for Clark. It's like, he's the best man. Who cares? Just get married.
Yeah,
you don't need him to get married.
Needed. Yeah.
Although he might have had the rings. Maybe that's why they were pseudo waiting.
Yes.
I don't know.
I like that Jonathan gave Lex a gift.
Yeah.
He gave him a compass because he's like, "That's the gift my dad gave me so that I wouldn't lose my way to the altar," or whatever. But I thought it was cute that they had that little moment of. Jonathan has very few moments where he's nice to Lex, but that was one.
Yeah. Probably two.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so the shockwave actually harms Martha and puts her in the hospital, and they lose the baby.
Yes. And
Jonathan is pissed.
Yes. And
so yelling at each
doesn't
other.
handle it parenting wise in the best
very
way.
well. Yeah.
As that happens to parents.
Oh, yeah.
And so then Clark's feeling like, I can't like him. And he goes and he finds the red kryptonite ring that Chloe still kept and puts it on so that he has his alter ego self and runs away because he's feeling crappy.
Oh, yeah. He's ruined a lot of things.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Lex wakes up on his private jet.
Yes.
To nobody else.
In the plane.
Gears and everything is destroyed. So he can't, even if he knew how to fly, he couldn't. And it's nosediving right into the ocean.
He's gonna die.
Yeah. He's pretty much doomed. Yeah. Okay. So do you remember when you first saw it? Who do you think was trying to kill him?
I thought it was his
dad.
dad.
Has it been too long? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I was like, oh,
She's behind it, so it's like, what the freak?
spoilers, everybody.
Yeah, by the way. Well, if they haven't known by now.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, Helen's behind it. But yeah, I thought it was their dad, his dad, because he was trying to get him to go on the plane, and he was like, let me give you something for your wedding, and even though I'm not invited.
All right.
Oh, something right before that, it shows Chloe, and she must have taken Lionel up on her offer, and she has like bad guy
She
hair
does.
and bad guy makeup.
Yeah, she's pissed because she's fed up with getting yanked around, or I can't
She
remember,
is.
but
She's
it's like
fed up.
it's just building. Like the
Yes.
whole last like 6 episodes, it just is building. They fight. Clark doesn't seek her out to talk to her to make up. It's almost
And
like he's like
he told Lana he
dismisses
would
her.
do it. So Lana's like, "Oh, Clark needs to find you to tell you stuff because Clark."
And he's not finding her because
No.
he's trying to destroy the ship. It's like his priorities are all out of whack,
Yep. Yep.
as always. And I guess not as always. He's always trying to save people, but
He's
it just
not
ugh.
doing it well
You
yet because he's still a teenage boy.
yeah, you can understand why Chloe is angry and pissed and is like, "You know what? I'll do this for you," because she's just so fed up.
Yeah.
She's done being a doormat.
Yep.
Basically.
Yep. And she gave both Lana the opportunity to tell her and Clark. She's like,
Yep.
I came to find you, Clark. Because she goes to Lana and she's like, so what's up with you and Clark? And she's like,
Go talk to Clark.
Go Clark, talk to Clark. And then so she goes and she finds him, which is really hard to do because he's not in any of the places he should be. She finally finds him. And she's like, Clark, I heard you wanted to talk to me. And he's like, I can't now.
Yeah.
You're like, no,
he's,
Clark,
totally rude to her.
take 2 minutes. The conversation that you had with her right now, while she's standing here, would have been shorter if you would have just told her, Clark and I, or Lana and I are dating. We just wanted to let you know. Like, that's all it would have taken. But then we wouldn't have all the drama of the TV show. So.
That's right. You gotta have the drama.
Yeah.
But yeah, he like is just screwing up left and right, and just the only person that doesn't blow off is, does he do something to Peter? I don't think he does. I think Peter's just
No.
Yeah, but he blows off Chloe, and he got in a fight with his parents because he wasn't honest with them. Like that's one thing I wrote down. I was like, if he was honest with them, it probably would have turned out slightly different. Where it's like, because I don't think he told them that
that he was hearing Jarrell. Because they were like, oh, are you still hearing like voices and stuff? And he's like, no, I'm not. And they're like, why did you lie about that?
All of a sudden, like, they have this honest relationship where they tell each other stuff, and then all of a sudden you're not going to tell your parents the most important thing that this guy's telling you to rule over these people.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to handle it all by myself. They don't need to know. That's never a good thing.
Never.
Nope. Always let the people you love know about stuff.
Yeah. That's the part of being a human. Like, you have people to lean on, to talk through things, to brainstorm.
Or to be there with you to face whatever you're going to face.
Yeah, so you're not doing it alone.
Yes.
Hence the reason why he disappears alone, because he's Mr. Lone Body now. Yeah. So much. Oh my gosh, it was intense.
Yeah, it was. Okay. All right, tally board. So we had title said in the episode. We had 1. It was the 22nd one. What was that one called?
Was it?
Exodus. The day is coming. Accelerate. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So title said in episode there was one. What?
Sorry, calling. Calling was
Okay.
Episode 22. So
Okay.
they must have said calling in that one.
Yep.
Someone's calling me. that was definitely be an easy one.
Yeah. Okay. Mom was said a total of 14 times in these 3 episodes.
Oh my gosh, I can't. Okay, you got to insert this at the beginning because I totally forgot. I got to see your parents. I meant to
Oh.
mention that. It was so fun to have them hang out, and I
Oh,
totally.
good. Good.
I left them with Anders. This is how much I trust these people. But I left them with Anders to go get Emmeline because they came like around 4, 3:30, 4 o'clock, 3:30, I think. Anyway, doesn't matter. But so I left them so I could go get Emmeline so they could meet her because I didn't think they met them at all, but I think they did when she was teeny tiny.
Oh, teeny tiny? Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe.
because they mentioned that, and so. But
well, good.
she like bolted to your mom
when
we got into the house. Yeah, because I told her on the way home, I was like, hey, we have visitors. It's Emmeline's, my best friend's parents. They're here and they're awesome. And so when we got into the house, she like ran to your mom. It was so cute. Yeah, it was so cute. And then she went and would sit on your dad's lap because he was sitting on the floor. And you could tell he was loving it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it was so fun to see your parents.
Yeah.
I love them. I feel awful because I don't go see them, but I should get your mom's number from you so I can at least be like, hey, can we come visit instead of just pop in like I used to do.
I'll give you your number.
Did it the worst, but yeah. Anyway, so that was super fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a good sidetrack. So Mama said 14 times. Okay, there was no bad guy operas in these episodes, but our new one, first name, last name.
First name, last name?
Where they say, where they're like, oh, Clark Kent, oh, Lana Lang, oh, Lex Luthor, where they say their entire name even though they're in the middle of a conversation. It's just weird.
Yeah. I just realized the names that you said, their first and last initials are the same.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I never even put
Lana
those two
Lang,
together.
Lex Luthor, Lionel Luthor.
Yeah.
So many
Clark
of them.
Kent? Oh, I guess not Clark. Just kidding.
It makes the same sound, but it's not the same letter.
Yeah.
But yeah. All the LLs. There's lots of LLs.
Anyway, so the same name.
Lois
Who was it?
Lane.
Yeah, Lois Lane. What's up with that?
He likes his L's.
What's Chloe's last name? I guess
Chloe Sullivan. Pete Ross. I'm trying to think.
Wow, good job.
Helen Bryce.
Ellen? Oh, the wife.
Yeah. Helen Luthor now.
Yeah. Widow. As far as she knows.
Okay, but first name, last name. It was... All right, there was 2 numbers. So there were 12 first name, last name, but then if you add the Kal-El and Jor-El, there's 7 more. So it's either 12 or it's 19. And I wasn't sure if I was going to include Kal-El or Jor-El. I don't think I will.
Oh, is that their last name?
Yeah, L is their last name.
Oh, Kal-El. I just figured it was one first name. They don't call him Cal. They say Kal-El. That's interesting. Anyway.
It's because it's the first name, last name. They always do it.
Yes, they do. They do. They love it.
No, maybe on Krypton, it's very formal there, and you always have to...
Maybe.
Zod doesn't get a last name, though, so...
He doesn't. Poor guy.
Zod.
Or
maybe Zod is his last name.
No, maybe it's Zaw is his first name and Odd is his last
No, it isn't.
Hey, let's pretend.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, maybe automatic bad guys don't get a first and last name in Krypton. Just I don't
So
know.
yeah, I don't
Isn't
think
he
I'll
a
count
soldier though?
Kal-El
Maybe
or
soldier.
Or Jor-El. Just the
Yeah. The
Earthling
Earth
names.
names. Yeah, no aliens, Emmeline. Come on. Alien names, I guess, because Clark Kent is an alien, so
Nope.
that's not really.
So we got 12 of those, and
Okay.
then our last one, the reverse Bechdel.
Yes.
That's where two guys talk and they only talk about a woman for a whole conversation. We had 2 passes. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
Who and what? Who and who?
Jonathan and Clark talking about the little girl, Emily, and then Lex and Clark talking about Lana. So,
Okay, cool.
yeah. So, there's all our
Nice.
tally board.
Nice. Okay, what's your favorite Superman reference? Quote or reference?
It was that Terrence stamp was in it. No, Lex said,
That is a good one.
I've always been fighting my destiny, trying to avoid becoming my father. We all have certain genes that no matter how much we want to change, dominate us. So there you go. There's Lex kind of giving you
Foreshadowing.
foreshadowing.
Oh shoot.
What is your favorite or your eye roll moment?
I think it was in episode 21 where oh my gosh, Clark and Lana's staring into each other's eyes is really annoying because they just stare at each other. It's like freaking stop it. Do not like those two together at all. She's not good for him. He's not good for her.
Yep.
They're just not good for each other.
No, they aren't. Next episode?
Yeah. Smallville, Woo! Season 3.
Farther
than I've been, I think. Because there were some episodes because I've seen the part where Lex is dive bombing into the water.
Oh, okay.
Like I remember that.
Okay. Well,
but
there you go.
But we're getting there. We're getting to episodes I've never seen before. Thank goodness.
So we'll watch episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4 for next time of season 3.
We would love to hear from you. We post a question on our Facebook page along with pictures from the episode. So if you want to check those out, they are on Facebook. You can also reach out to us there or our email. And there are links to both of those on our website. And they are also listed in the show notes.
And help us grow by telling others about us and share something that you learned with them, like how our holidays were. And you can reach out to us and let us know how yours were on our Facebook page. That would be awesome. You can subscribe to our podcast on our website and become a supporter of the show there too. We would like to thank Red Productions for the music, Jonica for our logo, and you, our listeners. We appreciate you.
Toodle pip.
Kyle's family has this thing that they did when he was a kid at Christmas time where, you'd get presents under the tree, not just from Santa, but you would get them from Frosty the Snowman or Rudolph or Comet or you'd get presents from all these Christmas characters. And so we've kind of taken up that tradition as well, right? And it's kind of something fun that we do. And this year I kind of went through a few days where I was just watching, the cheesy Christmas movies. I was like, does anybody want to watch these with me? And they're all like, no. But they'd walk through and I was like scrolling, picking the next one, right? And one of the the shows, we never ended up watching it, but was called Hot Frosty.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like about
I've
this
seen the trailer.
I've seen the trailer. It's like this snowman statue guy or cut out of ice. Anyway, he's very muscled. Anyway, we all joked about it. Like, Hot Frosty. Mama, are you going to watch Hot Frosty yet? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to watch. Let's go watch Hot Frosty. Anyway, it was this joke. And so when I was wrapping the presents, all of them got a present from Hot Frosty this year. And when they got their presents and they saw who it was from, they all busted up laughing. Kyle thought it was the best.
That's awesome.